you're a trap. Don't seem to mind it. You attract me. I'm a mouse, you're a cat. I don't seem to mind it. Soft and furry. Oh, and just when I think I'm safe, snap. Turns out I'm never safe, snap. Just when you think you're safe, snap. I come back. You don't seem to mind it, but I'm a fool. Broke my back. You don't seem to mind it, 'cause you're so cool. And just when I think I'm safe, snap. Turns out I'm never safe, snap. Ooh. And just when you think you're safe, snap. Turns out I'm never safe, snap. Ooh. Just when I think I'm safe, oh. Turns out I'm never safe. Oh, just when you think you're safe, it turns out I'm never safe. Turns out I'm never safe.
Oh! Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, Mouse Hunt.
Hello.
Mouse Hunters. Giorgio wanted to push the live button.
Yeah, I was like, oh, the countdown. Can I click it exactly at 0? Perfect
You
timing.
did a pretty good job. I think that was right at 0. Expert timing.
Expert. That was a speed run. I did the MouseHunt Feedback Friday speed run in under 1 minute 17 seconds.
Years of watching a timer hit 0. And then
World
click
record,
upward,
any percent. All right, that's all. I'm pro gamer move there. Thank you. So yeah, I was just here to. Ooh, I just moved the desk. Whoa!
My coffee!
Whoa! So I'm just here to start the day off with a bit of chaos. I actually came in just to tell Dave something real quick, and I stuck around for a minute. But I'll let
Got to push the button.
I'll love you be now.
Okay.
I don't know why I said
Came in, moved the table, almost spilled the coffee on a laptop. It's a good start to the day.
It's fine. It's fine. Yo, can I read the answer to the choir right now?
Well, preferably.
Okay, good. That's a trick. You passed the test.
All right,
World
well,
record
that was the
speed
first
run.
Speed run
passing the
quad.
test.
Speed run trivia
Any
question.
percent Giorgio quiz speed run.
Okay. Oh, there you go. Have a lovely morning.
This is a weird handshake. What do you? Okay.
Well, hello, Mouse Hunters. Welcome to Feedback Friday. Today is January 10, 2020. Georgia's figuring out how to close a door for the 10th time. He still hasn't quite figured it out. And I guess today is the first official Feedback Friday of the year. I did pop on last Friday. That's at our office. We're closed, but I did hop on, did a quick little Q&A. I wouldn't say quick little Q&A. Actually, I think it ended up being 45 minutes as per usual, but I did a little informal Q&A with no plan ahead of time. But this would be the first official Feedback Friday from Hit Grab offices here. So hello to everyone in the chat, and I'll get caught up a little bit. Hello, hello, hello. We have another Giorgio's in the chat. Look, Giorgio missed that. Spelled a little bit differently, perhaps pronounced a little differently. I don't know. Hello, Celine, Dalton, Way, Akradabra, Swoon, Beck, Eric, Tarako, Stejan, Beck, Aurora, Natora, Beth, Michelle, hello. Happy New Year to you as well. Good morning. There are a lot of hellos and hellos. Good morning. Apologize if I missed anyone. Lawrence, Riot, Eddie. I feel like I'm on, what was that show? I can't forget, like IC. Robert and Susan. Anyway, today I was going to go over a quick little announcement about the Great Winter Hunt final closure. That's coming next week. Give a little look at Lunar New Year as well, because that seems to be on track and progressing as expected. As well as stick around at the end, we'll have a little bit of feedback as well on the upcoming Valentine's mini event. We were tying up a few details there where we wanted to pick Hunter's brain a little bit, help fuel some of our final conversations before we start work on that next week. Well, first off, oh no, where are my slides? There we go. Let me make myself smaller. First off is the great final closure of the Great Winter Hunt 2019. So just a quick heads up to everyone in the chat or watching this that the Great Winter Hunt will shut down on Tuesday, January 14 at roughly 11 a.m. Toronto time, which is the same time that Feedback Friday starts. It's typically when we do our code pushes. And that final closure, it's going to remove the vacant lot, or frozen vacant lot, as I believe we called it. All the shops are going to be gone as well, so there'll be no more opportunity to spend any cookies, any of your animated snow, any sort of those cash outs. There's no final sort of cash out period or anything like that, so make sure, especially any of the limited edition rewards that you had your eye on and that you collected enough cookies to pick up, make sure you purchase those before January 14 or they will be retired and gone forever. Giorgio popped in the chat and said, "Hi Dave, I'm still here. I'm at my desk. I can hear you through the wall. What's up? Is this distracting? Do you need me there to stop? Do you need me to stop so you can do Feedback Friday?" No, please continue. Soon says, "Awesome Desert Heater base. Keep sandblasted metal coming." I think it's not the most common reward, but it is in there. It is a plethora of the loot items or various Sandtail desert themed items that you can find. It's quite the extensive drop table on there. That said, the probabilities are quite wide, ranging from, I think, 1 in 1,500 to something a much larger number. Sejin says, "On cookie smashability last year, the cookies were smashable, but only late. Edit on the wiki was February 5th-ish. Is this possible?" We checked that out, and actually there was nothing in the history of those files that show that they could be smashed. So yeah, I don't quite know where that information came from. We couldn't dig out or confirm that's what happened last year. Pin asks, "Will double loot work on Calarib?" No, anything in the nests. It has to be when Lunar New Year comes around. The lantern will only double or triple things that are actually dropped by the mice. That also won't apply to anything that is a bonus item that you find. So let's say you have a charm that adds an extra journal entry that says, "Additionally, I found something." Those aren't doubled. It has to be in the journal entry where it says the mouse dropped the following loot. Those items are eligible. Which is a good segue into Lunar New Year. So it's just around the corner. The popular Lunar Lantern event, it is going to make a return. You're going to be able to light candles to double or triple most loot drops throughout the kingdom. Pretty well everything. I think there's a few items that are exempt. Comes to mind is treasure map clues. Those won't double. I think there's also a few other little exceptions to the rule. The candles themselves, they don't double, and dumpling cheese doesn't double either. So kind of the event-themed items, they don't double themselves. And there's a few other items, but I believe that's all outlined in the interface when Lunar New Year starts and you open up the message box there, the dialog box. You can see where the exemptions lie. Yeah, Bintang says, "Nest from Geyser isn't affected by candle." That is correct. Yazid says, "They were smashable for snowball charms unless we did something very weird. We literally checked the history of the cookie files, and at no point were they smashable. So if that was the case, we would have had to do something and not put it through kind of our source control systems. We would have had to kind of manually do it live or something like that, and then hope that didn't get in our way. So we couldn't find anything there." Cinna says, "Don't smash your cookies, get a glass of milk and enjoy them." Hi, David and Rose. Hello back to you, Purple, as well. Stejan asks, "Will the stretch goal this year be as far as last year, 360 candles?" Let me just triple check, but I think the maximum height wasn't at 500 meters, if I recall correctly. Off the top of my head, I can't quite remember. Let's see here. I got a little copy of it loading on my local. No, I think it's more than 500. Oh, wait, no, maybe it is 400, 500 feet. Yeah, so 500 feet, and lighting a regular candle will raise it by 1 meter, and lighting a red candle will raise it by 2 meters. Hello, Giorgio again. I'm going to...
Breaking news coming in live from the dev desk there. Thanks for joining us this evening. I'm Georges Sinachak, as your host. Here with me, Dave, my co-anchor and friend of 14 years.
Yeah.
15 years. This September will have been 16 years. I lost my flow. Franco noticed in the code base the cookies were smashable.
Really?
We unsmashable them because we were bringing them back again this
Okay.
year.
In the file of the cookie themselves?
Yeah, in the repo history. I don't know how it wasn't.
Okay, yeah, it was annotated, never showed up.
This is exactly the door. Annotate, and these are not released. That's all I can do.
It's a mystery for the ages. All right, sure. Giorgio's going to go and make the cookies smashable into snowball charms. And my CPU fan has now caught up with us. And I was looking for Lunar New Year. What was that? Lunar New Year. 2020. Whoa, CPU fan does not like me opening up too many things. News works fast. Breaking news with Giorgio. Uh-oh, I can't even scroll. What's going on here? Ooh, all right. I believe in you, little CPU. You could stream video and open a Google Doc at the same time. Have to believe. So the reward track of 2020, it is very similar to 2019. Let's see here where we got the bonus luck still works the same way. As you raise the candle, you can find additional bonus luck. There are some of the Lunar New Year skins. You'll still be able to grab the Floating Pig Fortress and the Doggy Droid as well skins. The pig is going to be at 480 feet. The doggy is at 240 feet. The Year of the Pig theme is going to be sold at a stockpile location. There's a new trap skin that is rat themed, and you'll be able to find that at 120 feet. And the new journal theme that is themed after the rat is going to be at 360 feet. So Stejan, maybe that is what you had in mind in terms of stretch goal. That sort of last unique unlock will be found at 360 feet. Because I think you mentioned 360. Ray says, by the way, the show thing you were thinking of was Romper Room. That sounds familiar now. And Senef suggests they should be smashable to get confetti. Just all this time the cookies were full of confetti. They get stuck in your teeth forever. What's the new skin? It will, well, let's maybe leave it as a surprise, but it is rat themed. There is a slide involved. And which trap? I believe it is for one of the traps you earn in Queso Geyser, if I recall correctly. Bintang asks, for Lunar New Year, is it a specific area for collecting dumpling cheese? Yes, and I think it is the same areas as it was last year. Maybe I can pull that up as well. I will open up Lunar New Year, if I can find it. There we go. I'll take a screenshot here of the areas. Oh, that's a long one. And we will add that here. So this will show the areas at which you can collect dumpling cheese. Whoa. I'll put this up for a little bit here just to read them off. The Town of Narnia, the Laboratory, Great Gnarled Tree Dojo, the SS Huntington, King's Gauntlet, Clawshot City, Muraday Market, Narnia Rift, Fungal Cavern, Masu Picchu, and Kesu River are the areas where there will be stockpile set up. So you'll be able to show up there, you hunt with regular cheese, and you will attract normal mice. Those mice drop the dumpling cheese, and when you switch over to the dumpling cheese, you'll start attracting the event mice. And to start off, you have to collect or have to capture all of the Zodiac-themed mice, all the costumed mice in order. I believe there are now 11 of them. The final one will be the costumed rat mouse. It'll drop the lunar rat lantern, and that will unlock the ability to start burning candles. So very similar and pretty well identical to last year, but everything gets a rat theme applied to it, and we've added the costumed rat mouse. So will we finally get access to the Winter Cup Dissonant Trap skin buyable again? Perhaps some way. That was a Olympic themed or winter sports themed skin, and we have kind of had it in the backlog for quite some time, a way to introduce those themed mice and other items maybe in a permanent way in the game, as I don't think we'll do that kind of theme of event anymore unless we kind of get extra bandwidth to be able to do that a little bit more comfortably, but it did kind of prove to be a few too many events than we're capable of producing in the amount of time that we have to do it. No Valorif stockpile. No, unfortunately, we just couldn't quite get it to feel right with the gameplay there, so that one got left aside. That said, you can light your candle in the Valor Rift well enough as well, so that you'll still be able to visit the Valor Rift during the Lunar New Year event, but it's not a stockpile location, so you won't be able to collect candles and dumpling cheese there. Can you show again the maps? Well, it was the same as last year as well. Let's see. Oh, did I delete it? Yeah, I did. I deleted it. I can find a more comfortable spot for it to reside. Here, I'll move me up a little bit. All right. I'll slide up. Those are the stockpile locations. Sounds great. Love the Lunar New Year event. You can definitely get a little bit of prep done, and actually I don't think I can quite line myself up the way I wanted to. But depending on what goals you have for Lunar New Year, you can review your inventory of cheese, maybe find if you have kind of cheese that is a little bit more difficult to get and the mouse drops something that you're looking to double or triple. Kind of keep those cheese in mind. You could go to various areas that have kind of phases or special progression to them and kind of set yourself up in spots where you want to be. For example, you could get to Wave 4 of the Fiery Warpath. You could find a monster trench in the Sunken City. You could get your enrage bars all filled up in the Whisker Woods Rift. You could kind of climb up the Valor Rift a little bit and line yourself up with an Eclipse if you're looking to double or triple the fragment drops. Or you could just start at floor 1 and work your way all up and just finish your run during the Lunar New Year as well. Richard asks, so the event starts on the 15th of January. It will start on the 14th, which is the same day that the Great Winter Hunt final closure will occur. So in that exact same update, the frozen vacant lot will go away and the Lunar New Year event will begin, barring some sort of catastrophic problem between now and next Tuesday. But everything seems to be working as intended at the moment anyway, as we've been play testing it this week. Uncle Gan says, just dropping in to say hi, gonna get some grub, well enjoy. Sinif says, MM stockpile sucks, the Murday Market, I guess would be that abbreviation. They're all somewhat similar, but it might come down to your trap setup and the type of goals that you're looking for, which stockpile location you choose. That said, the drop rates are quite generous being in there. There's the way the event is set up, so I don't think you spend too long in a stockpile location. Because the event being a little short, you need time to get out there and use the candles as well. Let me see if I can find the Lunar New Year stuff. This was kind of overhauled a little bit this year. So Murday Market, where are you? Huntington Gauntlet, Murday Market. So the mice dropping candles is the calligraphy, the red envelope, the dumpling chef. And then you also have the costumed mice, and I think the desert worker mouse. That's the desert architect, I believe, is the actual name of that mouse. That's a super mouse, but that also drops some candles as well. And they're all about the same. You average just over 1 candle per hunt while you're there, about 1.25, somewhere in that neighborhood. Senia asks, what is going to happen when you get to Tiger again? Are you going to use the elements? Then probably yes. Well, actually, some of the elements have been incorporated into the art. I think this year it is gold or metal. And so Jacob incorporated a guitar in the illustration of the costumed rat for metal. So kind of his take on metal there. But yeah, it'll be kind of fun once we have all the Zodiac mice, all the costume mice, we complete the set. That might be kind of fun to start brainstorming to do something a little special once we have the whole set put together. Dana asks, Narnia game this year with Tokyo Olympic? I don't think so. I think it just kind of stretched us a little bit thin to try to do that many events in that short period of a time. We just didn't quite have the resources to pull that off. And so that's kind of why those events fell by the wayside a little bit, especially because we'd favor doing a little bit more time on new areas and expansions to the game or adding new features. And then kind of felt like 80% of our time was getting poured into doing these events that then kind of get thrown out afterwards, and that kind of created a big sort of void in terms of higher level content for quite a while. So we're trying to kind of reverse that pattern a little bit, do fewer events, and free us up to spend more of our time on game expansions, features, and improvements. Alex has a good suggestion there of going to Murday Market and using your desert heater base. That's actually a pretty good way to get a little bit of synergy during the Lunar New Year event. Try out the base for a little bit, try your luck, convert some of your flame shards into perhaps more useful loot. Oh, Beth had the same suggestion there as well. Ben asks, does the attraction rate of the various costume mice vary between stockpiles, or is it all the same? Let me triple check. I'm pretty sure it's all the same. That was increased this year. We did have feedback that it was a little too hard to crown those mice. So let me triple check here. The encounters, yeah, they're all, looks to be 5% across the board using regular or red dumpling cheese or Naan Gouda. There's quite a few of them, so that puts you at a 51% chance. I guess there's some decimals in there. Chance of encountering one of the costume mice. So for the most part, when you're hunting a stockpile, you'll be encountering quite a few of the costume mice. Is there going to be something special when we finish the jade bases? I'm not sure because they're limited edition, so I don't know if we do anything too special, but we might do something fun when we complete the set of mice. But a little too soon to say for sure. George asks, when are the islands going to get a UI overhaul? That's definitely been on the to-do list for a very long time, but can't say for sure when that would happen. Can we get previous Jade bases from last year? They are limited edition, which means they are not going to make a return. I'll triple check, but I'm pretty sure they're all limited edition. Otherwise, we probably would have brought them back. Bases. Jade limited, yes. The only one that is not limited edition is the plain old Jade base. So the limited edition items do not make a return. Sinif asks, does the desert heater base also work to get Petals essences in Living Garden? I believe that is on the drop table. Let me check out here. That would be Great Winter Hunt. 2019. Keep looking for 2020. And reward items, the desert heater base. Where are you? There you are. So the desert heater base has, how many is this? 42 unique items on its table of items it can produce, ranging from below 1%, and let me see what's the highest number in here, to 10%. The most likely item to get from the desert heater base is in fact an A essence or an Aleph essence. I can never pronounce the name of those various essences, but they go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, so I'll just refer to them by their first letter. But you do have a 10% chance to produce one of the A essences, so that's one of the more likely things. And as a whole, A all the way through I is about a 28% chance. So yeah, a little more than 1 in 4 times when you produce something with your desert heater base, it's going to be one of the essences. The last thing actually we'll go over, I wanted to get some feedback from hunters because today in the afternoon we're going to be doing our first roadmap meeting of the year, and we'll be looking over kind of our tentative plans that we had for 2020, doing a little bit of brainstorming, combing through the idea bank, looking over any milestones or projects that we have in progress as well, and kind of just reviewing where they're at. And one of those things would be a Valentine's mini event. So this year with Lunar New Year coming quite a bit earlier, it will not overlap with Valentine's Day on February 14. And so with that in mind, we want to make sure that the event mice for Valentine's, such as the Cupid and the Gentleman Caller, Romy No, Juliet, so those characters are available. for a time. We want to do it for a little bit longer too, that we did in previous years. We had some feedback as well that I think it was a little hard to crown them or make sure that you encountered each mouse if they're only around for a few days. So we can do at least about a week. But we were brainstorming a Valentine's mini event, kind of similar to, I think, something we did in 2012, if I recall correctly. But we were debating between either having the Valentine's mice as bonus catches, which is how the prize mice work. And so if you're not familiar with that, there's a chance that you capture 2 mice on a single hunt. You'll attract a mice as normal, and then right below it there'll be another journal entry saying, hey, you encountered a prize mouse, and you either catch it or you may fail to catch it. But that second encounter does not consume an additional piece of cheese, and it does not consume a charm or trigger any drain of like lantern oil or anything like that. And what's nice about that is that we'd be able to put them in every single area in the game. They don't really get in the way where you feel then you have to go to a specific stockpile location, and they're just kind of a nice supplementary addition during Valentine's. It says 2 mice with 1 hunt stonks. Yes, please. Bonus mice, bonus hunts would be nice. Not sure how that impacts crowning, though. It still counts as a regular catch, so you'll still be earning your king's crowns. Those mice can still drop loot as well, like the mobster mouse drops super brie, and the leprechaun mouse drops a pot of gold, so the bonus catches can still drop loot. And they would drop the various Valentine charms, lucky Valentine charms, probably the various Valentine-themed collectibles as well as a way to obtain those. That sounds great. Yep, prize mice is the way to go. Will they be attracted to every hunt? Ask Swift. No, it would most likely be a chance to encounter them. So we just have to kind of maybe review and come up with an encounter rate that is kind of consistent with how they've been in the past or consistent with other events. Diamond says, why not do the Olympic mice that way too? Yeah, that's an option as well, because that's a much more low-key kind of event. A lot more turnkey for us as well. In fact, the way we'd set up the Valentine event would be very much so a flip of the switch in the back end to enable that, and they would appear. Actually, technically, that exists for the prize mice as well. We can kind of toggle that on and off without having to actually push code. That said, with any event, there's a lot of kind of behind-the-scenes stuff happening as well. So during an event, a bunch of wall posts start appearing, and those get scheduled in advance, so somebody has to put all those together. There'll be a news posts, probably new kind of page banners and stuff, kind of a little bit of a marketing push. So there's still kind of a lot of hours that get put into that kind of behind-the-scenes stuff that isn't necessarily mice in the game and gameplay. James says, I honestly hope it's not too common if it's a bonus hunt, though, or else crowning suddenly becomes so easy. Yeah, that's what I mean by we'd have to kind of take a look and see what encounter rate would be consistent with how they've been in the past, and make sure kind of characters are a little harder to encounter than other characters. That maintains a little bit of consistency as well. And if it was every single hunt with so few characters as well, it might become a little bit meaningless to be capturing them eventually. Ernest asks, will Nangao be available on the market this year? I'm not sure if it's tradable. Let me check. So cheese, nope, not bases. Cheese, please. And noun gouda. Difficulty spelling and pronouncing it. No, it is not tradable. And I don't know if the dumpling cheese is. Let me check here. That's not a window. This is a window. There we go. Cheese. Nope, that's germs. I'm bad at clicking, apparently. And the dumpling cheese is not tradable either. Prize mice don't trigger anything, if I recall correctly. Will the prize mice give extra progress in Valor Rift? No. I mean, typically, without kind of thinking through every single use case, but that was the intention of bonus catches, is they don't interfere with your normal hunting. So say you're in the sunken city, you won't move forward any extra. If you're in the Valor Rift, it won't consume one of your hunts. It's 2 mice on the same hunt. You don't lose cheese, you don't lose charm. You shouldn't lose any kind of like HUD progression items or anything like that either. So that seems like that is heavily favored, whereas kind of option B would be more like something we've done in the past. We'd set up Valentine's stockpile locations. That said, there's no kind of Valentine cheese. I don't know if they would need one of that without any kind of additional progressive kind of gameplay setup. So that would just be they'd show up in specific locations, probably very similar to the list below me there. And if you just hunt with normal standard kind of cheese like Brie, Gouda, Super Brie, that sort of thing, they just have a chance to show up. And again, they would drop Valentine charm and some extra goodies. So it says bonus hunts sound nicer and easier to implement. Well, I don't know if they're specifically easier to implement, actually. There's a couple little technical uncertainties that we're going to be exploring next week. But I thought it would be important to get hunter feedback as well before we make final decisions. But a few things, I'm trying to desperately find the document while completing my sentence. A couple things that we were unsure about were tournaments. Let's see if I can find Valentine's 2020. Put together a little list of a few things that need some R&D next week if we go ahead with bonus hunts. And that was, where was it here? Tournaments, scoreboards, and treasure maps. So tournaments, we kind of see how easy or how feasible it is to make the bonus hunts work with tournaments. Tournaments, especially being kind of an older system in the game, sometimes it's harder to interface or interact with it with some of the newer content. But we came up with a few different options that were kind of placed under consideration depending on how our research goes. We could either kind of just get in there and try to make that work with the code. We could update our automated tournament scheduler to create kind of the solo and the duo tournaments, which tend to come around every Valentine's Day, for just all the normal tournaments. So it might be a Fiery Warpath or a Valor Rift tournament or something like that. Just your regular kind of everyday tournaments, but while the mini event's going, they may appear as either solo or duo tournaments. And finally, if all else fails, we'd have to forego any Valentine-themed tournaments. So it might be kind of interesting to get feedback from everybody on how important tournaments are during the Valentine event. Howling Tigrask, is Lucky Valentine Charm making a return? Yes. K&M says tourneys, yes please. Bintang asks, so hunting with Dragonvine cheese on Mouse Picchu, does that drop dumpling too, or is just hunting with regular cheese? Let me triple check. I think you'd have to be hunting with your regular cheese. I probably shouldn't even close this spreadsheet. Trying to spare my computer some resources, I guess. I'm in the year 2020. Let's find Mouse Picchu, probably right at the bottom. So the stockpile encounters with dumpling cheese. You know, I don't have that right on hand here. You know, I don't have that handy just to make sure I don't give them any misinformation. Valentine duo tournaments, that's cool. Tournaments are important to my team. Solo versions of existing one with special Valentine prizes would be nice. That's been done before too. Yay, Lucky Valentine Charms, I love those. Says Cecilia. Bonus hunts, even if no tourney, says Tarako. So interesting kind of getting feedback to see the hierarchy of pros and cons of different things. Waynete says, will we be able to get greater than 50 luck, or is it still the same cap? Yes, it's still capped at 50 luck. So as you raise, every time you burn a candle, a regular candle goes up by 1 meter, a red candle goes up by 2 meters, and if you reach the very top of the track, that will unlock plus 50 luck. That's it, as you go up, you keep unlocking plus 1 luck all the way up to 50. But it is capped at 50, and that bonus is active while your lantern is lit, whether it's with a normal or a red candle, the bonus is active as well. So it'll kind of help make some of your hunts while you're going for double or triple loot. That'll help make them count, make sure you catch those mice, you're a little more likely to catch them. And also loot slightly increases the chance of a mouse dropping something. So that'll also kind of help the loot even to appear to begin with to then be doubled or tripled. How about Lunar New Year tournaments? A little bit kind of mixed feedback on that, because by nature of Lunar New Year, the fun part of it, or the sort of the major sort of main part of it, is about getting the candles and then going out elsewhere throughout the whole game and finding double and triple loot drops. And so with that in mind, I think just the regular tournaments themselves work fairly well, because you're not necessarily sitting in a stockpile location. You want to get out and go to other areas to start double and tripling your loot drops. And so I'd feel a little counterintuitive if the best means was, well, no, I want to go to Valor Rift to double my fragments, but it's a little bit better if I sit in the fungal cavern, because then I can do tournaments and get some extra candles, so I can stay in the fungal cavern and keep burning these candles to do more tournaments, and it doesn't quite give you the opportunity to go and actually do kind of what I think is the fun part of the event, or the kind of the important final goal of it all. Setup says, at times I look like a chef with the lantern. Let me see if I can line that up again. Oh, reverse camera. There we go. That'd be a big chef's hat. Anson asks, weren't there Lunar New Year maps before? Yes, but not during the lantern-themed event. So that was during perhaps Calamity Carl's cruise, where you were staying in the same event area the entire time. You'd never leave, and your main objective was to capture the event mice, and progress along that, the Calamity Carl's reward track, if you will. So just by nature of the Lantern event being something where you don't want to stay in the stockpile locations, or you spend a good amount of time outside the stockpile locations not hunting event mice, the maps and the tournaments aren't exactly the greatest fit for it. How long does Lunar New Year event last? That is also a great question. And let me triple check my calendar, because I am infamous for giving incorrect dates quite frequently. Lunar New Year event starts on January 14, barring some catastrophe on Monday that we didn't see coming, and it will end on January 28, which is 2 weeks later. And actually on that day, we are, hopefully, knock on wood, planning to release a bunch of quality of life improvements as well. So kind of what we have codenamed Bug Blitz. During the event season last year, probably through October, November, December, we were quite busy with the plethora of events that we were putting together, and so kind of our backlog of less critical bug fixes started to grow a little bit larger than we're comfortable with. So we actually devoted an entire release effort and a release push to just batching together all those little tiny tweaks and bug fixes and release them all at once toward the end of the month. As well as a few other kind of behind-the-scenes optimizations and improvements. So there'll probably be some extensive patch notes will be come out on the same day that Lunar New Year event ends. It says, yo, Dave, that lantern is lit. I think it is. It looks like it's currently lit. And do tournament points work with bonus mice, asks James. That is the little bit of R&D that we're going to do to see how easily we can make those two systems play nice together. How about adding some candles to all tournament rewards during Lunar New Year? Having tourneys during Great Winter Hunt was amazing. That's an interesting suggestion. Might have to go into the notes for next year, though, and kind of take that into overall account, as well as kind of when we're looking at how kind of the collection rate of things. We like to look at the rate of everything all kind of combined, and then look at each source individually. So it'd be a little bit of work to go through and kind of update everything with that in mind. But that's a good suggestion for next year. Just watch the coffee mishaps. Almost had one this morning with Giorgio shaking the desk. It was close. That would have been number 2, actually. I think years ago, at the same boardroom table, actually. We moved it. We were in the office in Oakville, and I think I was sitting here. I forget what I was doing, but I was in the boardroom, maybe just kind of wanted some quiet space to kind of finish something up for an hour or so. And Giorgio came in to ask me something. There was a tissue box on the table, and I think he said, like, I forget what happened, but he slid the tissue box down the table, and then it hit my coffee, and it dumped onto the keyboard. But I turned it off quickly, and I left it upside down, I think, for the rest of the day. It dried out, and it was fine. No harm, no foul. Unlike the most recent coffee incident I had that bricked my laptop. And a big sparks came out of the keyboard, and then the screen just went like, I think it started at the top, and I saw it go like, zzz, and it all went down into the corner. I was like, uh-oh, that might be the end of that. Dalton Hall says, on a side note, I'm glad you finally got around to fixing dark mode for iPhone so we can see our clocks on the app. But the banner notification that comes down is still in black letters. Okay, that's good to know. I'll take a little note of that. It's interesting because you think being kind of native, that would have just kind of taken care of itself in the OS. Katrina asks, how about candles and dragon nest loot? No, the candles will not affect nest loot, so the only thing that the candles can double or triple, it has to actually be dropped by the mouse. So you have to see it in your journal under the area that says, additionally, the mouse dropped the following loot. If it's in that list and it's not on the list of kind of items that are exempt from being double or tripled, then it will be affected. So the nest loot, because it's not actually dropped by the mouse, it won't be doubled or tripled. Additionally, any kind of extra, if you have a special charm that adds loot to a mouse, or a base that adds loot to a mouse, if it gets added in a separate journal entry, it doesn't appear under additionally this mouse dropped the following loot, then it will be unaffected by the lantern. Yoshira asks, what will happen to Eclipse Fragment loot if we caught Eclipse with Red Candle and Champion Fire? I'd have to kind of check the order of operations there to see if you'd get +1 or +2 or 3 from the triple. But yeah, off the top of my head, I don't quite know what this sort of a loot bed mass there is to know whether the fire adds an additional loot and then the candle or the lantern comes in last and doubles everything. I suspect that is the case, but I can't say with 100% certainty. Unless I'm mistaken as well, the Champion's Fire in Valor Rift, it adds +1 drop. I don't think it doubles the drops. Could be mistaken though. I've been camped out at the Great Winter Hunt now for several weeks, so perhaps my Valor Rift knowledge is rusting. Wayne asks, how about a Lunar New Year aura? I think, we don't want to go too overboard with the auras, and I think it's nice that different events have different identities that way as well. So kind of, I know a phrase which Jacob often champions is the more of something there is, the less special each one becomes. And so it's nice when each individual event kind of has their own identity, or where there's not so many auras that you can't keep them straight anymore. Each of them has their own unique identity that you can kind of remember, and at a glance you're like, oh yeah, that one, that does that. Whereas if there got to be 31, your trap might start to look ridiculous unless we redid the interface. But it'd be hard to keep straight, like which ones do you want? And the game might be about, okay, well, how do I get all 30? And it takes you just way too long to do that it almost distracts you from actually then going forth and you putting those auras to good use. So we try to kind of keep things each having their own kind of special, unique effects. Yeah, Giorgio's helped me out. He says bread, eggs, dinosaurs, mayonnaise, apples, and salad. That is bedmass order. You do the bread first, eggs, they then take flight. Next, you dinosaur, mayonnaise, apples left to right. You add them and you salad, and as you do, you shout. You work in bedmass order. That's what it's about. Somehow that song stuck with me from grade 6 or something. I don't know when. I had a math teacher who was also a music teacher, and so he would play that song on the piano. And somehow that is burned into my memory banks. Much later, at the age of 35, I can still remember that. Session says, isn't fire an additional entry like Fort Rocks? Let's go take it for a test spin, shall we? Because like I said, I've been camped out at the Great Winter Hunt for so long that I am far from an expert Valor Rift hunter now. Much to my embarrassment. Oh, that's not Lunar New Year. This is really going to tax the CPU now. Watch out. All right, do I have a lantern? Yes, I have a lantern. Do I have candles? Yes, I have candles. All right. Let's head on over. Going to the Rift Plane, Valor Rift. And I'm going to need a Rift Trap. Let's arm one of those. Let's go with the Celestial Dissonance, Clockwork Base. Let's go with Gauntlet String, sure. And Rift Ultimate Lucky Power Charm. I have 100,000 of those in the test environment. Let's use some of those. And we may as well use Super Siphon to make this interesting. Alright, we're going in. We are going to light our candle. Candle is lit. I'm going to ignite my Champion's Fire. I'm on floor 2. Ooh, the CPU doesn't like all this. Floor 3, floor 4. Still floor 4, floor 5, 6, 7. All right, here I am on floor 8. And I have my lantern lit with a normal candle, and I have the Champion's Fire is burning. And I am going to catch the Shade of the Eclipse. The mouse dropped. The mouse also dropped the following loot: 1 Fragment of the Eclipse, 2 Tower Sigils, 1 Tower Secret, and 4 Vacuum Charms. Champion's Fire revealed additional loot. Yep, so that will not be affected by the lantern. By the light of the Rat Lunar Lantern, I also earned 1 Fragment of the Eclipse, 2 Tower Sigils. Yeah, so anything I saw in the list that says this mouse dropped the following loot, basically that gets repeated in the By the Light of the Lantern journal entry. I'll take a screenshot of that as well and show you what I'm looking at. So, where did it go? Oh, not that. There we go. So, whoa, that's a big screenshot. Resolution. So here's an example of me capturing a Shade of the Eclipse, and I had my Champion's Fire burning, and I also had my lantern lit with a regular candle. And you can see in the area of the normal capture journal entry where it says the mouse dropped the following loot, those items all get repeated in the specific rat journal theme, or journal entry rather. The candles do double Champion's Fire that's dropped by mice, though that is correct. Bintang asks, does the candle just double the loot from mice or the loot after tonic? All right, sure. Let's fire over. Let's see here. Let's go on over to not Queso Geyser, but where am I going? Queso Canyon. Let's go to the Prickly Plains. Hopefully they have cheese. Arcane power is required. Let's go with the New Horizon trap. I will arm some hot queso. Let's get the Minotaur base going, sure. Alright, and I'll keep that big old charm arm just so I catch things. So now I have my tonic lit. I'm in the Prickly Plains. I have my arcane trap. I have some hot queso cheese. I have my tonic going. And there we go. I've captured a Spice Raider. He dropped 1 Flaming Leaf, and by the light of the Rat Lunar Lantern, I earned an additional Flaming Leaf, and then my Wild Tonic fertilized the soil, blooming an additional Flaming Leaf. So because the loot from the tonic is added in its own special journal entry, the mouse doesn't actually drop it. It is not affected by the Rat Lantern. I can show you what I'm looking at too. There we go. Can we see the rat mouse again? Sure, let me go find that. The costumed rat. So that's in here. Mice. So that's a good rule of thumb, basically. Any mouse where, after you see it in the actual journal entry in that little list, that list just gets doubled again in the next journal entry for the rat lantern. Costumed rat. Where are you, rat? Tiger, snake, sheep, rooster, rat. There we go. Okay. Let's get a challenge. There we go. Here. Let's get rid of this. Let's find the rat. And the file name is D23A. There, be the rat. Ooh, dirty rat. Well, there's the costume, the rat mouse. There's also, I believe, Jacob drew this on a art feedback Friday. He drew this live as well. It's up on his art page. Swift says, so it's ×2 + 1. Yes, more bed mass is coming in here. Raymond asked, what are the price of red candles? I'm pretty sure it's identical to last year. Not really much has changed in terms of the Lunar New Year event. The only significant change is switching from a Year of the Pig theme to Year of the Rat theme, and then the reward track being updated accordingly as well. Brian says, so which trap is getting the free skin for the event this year? We'll leave it as a surprise, but it is one of the traps that you earn in Queso Geyser. Unless I am horribly mistaken, in which case I will print it out and eat my words, figuratively, come Tuesday. close some tabs before my CPU blows up. And we are at 47 minutes. So we better move over to the quar and wrap things up here. Today's quar is... Maybe can I do... Where am I? Where am I here? There we go. Today's quar question answer reward, as lovingly made an acronym or abbreviation by Giorgio. The question is, what was the very first Valentine's mouse introduced into the game? So as we got feedback on potential remaking Valentine mice bonus sketches, got to be thinking about Valentine's, events of the past, and Cupid is correct. Well, that was a pretty easy one. The Cupid mouse is was the first, and I guess still is the first introduced Valentine-themed mouse into the game. It was introduced in 2009. Time is passing. Wow. So 11 years ago, the Cupid mouse was added to the game.
Breaking news here. I'm with Dave Vandenberg. I think this is working out. I think I've interrupted the stream. I believe we're streaming live from the studio where Dave is streaming Feedback Friday right now. He's just on the quad. Dave, can you comment on this? We heard that the mouse answer was Cupid. What do you have to say about that?
That's correct. Can you believe it's been 11 years since the Cupid mouse was introduced?
That's ridiculous.
It's 11 years
that is
of,
an insane amount of time.
Valentine's life.
We're here. We don't know what's going on outside right now, but oh, this is working good. I thought so. Anyway, that was breaking news with Dave's face from my phone, and it worked out. So I'm going to do this more often. Expect to see this.
All right.
At the 47th minute. Next time, Dave does Feedback Friday, and it'll be a Giorgio interruption.
How am I going to put the link up, Giorgio?
Let me.
You have to write it on the whiteboard.
I think you just still paste it inside. Oh, you want it on the stream? It sounds like on the.
Oh, I'll put it in the chat.
Put it on
Actually,
your
even if you
screen
watch it recorded.
with Quicksilver, and then I'll record your screen with my screen.
Yeah, make an infinite loop happen here.
Wait, no, you gotta make
I
that,
gotta
make
find
that
it,
smaller.
yeah.
No, okay.
Well, I'd have to find the actual stream.
Well,
and you go screen within a screen within a screen.
It's too bad that this
Oh,
works
it turned out.
because I'm gonna do this more often.
All right, I'm gonna change the password. Sounds good.
Oh, what? No, I think I have admin access to the account. So,
Yeah.
I'm not even logged in. It's just there, I've been added with my hit card. Don't remove my email address from it. Oh no. We could have done this.
I'm out of coffee, Giorgio. I'm out of coffee.
Out of or you're
Out
of
in
it?
coffee.
You're out in coffee. Can you be out of it? Like, do you stock it in that cup?
I am outside of the coffee right now. Yeah.
No, but you have coffee in your belly then.
Yeah,
You're
there's coffee in me.
fully
Yeah.
stocked. When we did our From Your House event release when the grand gift opening ceremony started, do you recall?
This
Remember,
year?
2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
We could have done a little quick, hey, it's us live from Dave's couch for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Or when we went skating, Dave and I went skating afterwards. I could have filmed us skating together.
Me gassed after 3 minutes.
Yeah. So what does this button do? What the heck? Oh, I can change the filter. Whoa, Dave, look at your screen in front of you. Whoa. Oh, dance party. Is it working? Oh, it's got little fade effects going on.
The bubbles.
Well, documentary, silver screen, a sketch. Ooh.
All right.
Let
me get this in the chat. Lock it away.
Oh, spooky.
Yeah, I was watching that.
Yeah, evil man. All right, well.
Oh, it just kicked in after.
I can turn the light on.
Yeah, I can turn the light on. Yeah, that's good too.
In case you were sleeping here and the lights were off, then I could
turn off the light. Go horror movie mode. Turn on your flash, and then turn off the actual light. Yeah. Whoa.
Oh wait, turn your glow off from your screen.
Yeah, turn the screen off. All right.
We're here inside the cavern. Oh, it's Dave. Get him. Look at your screen. It's extra spooky right now.
Yep. Oh, extra spooky.
Well, I'm going to end this stream and see if you can pick it up from your side. Dave.
I don't think I can. Or what happens if I just hit... Okay, hold on.
Just hit it.
Let's experiment. Let's see what happens. This is going to commandeer.
Commandant. I wonder if yours was still streaming and saving to the video, or... Did they end up getting their link, by the way? In the chat, at least.
I posted it in the link, yeah,
Okay.
or in the chat. I posted the chat in the link,
You posted in the chat.
and even recorded the chats beside it. Now, if you watch on YouTube, I'm
Okay.
fairly certain. My emails going out like, this one's got love, this one's got love, this one's got love.
All right, thanks for joining us, hunters.
Let's see, it still work?
Let's see, refresh. Oh. You're
This one
just
is
playing back
live
the video.
now.
You're playing the
Okay.
video.
Wait.
Hit that button. Click that right there.
Okay, yeah.
You're on the live channel now.
Okay.
Well, all right, it worked
All
out.
right.
I
It worked.
I went beyond my normal crashing the room. I crashed the stream,
Crashed the
like
stream.
literally. Stream slice. Dude, I stream sliced. Stream slice. Stream slice.
Ah.
Stream slice. Stream slice. So yeah, let me know.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap things up here. Thanks for joining me, Hunters, on Feedback Friday. First Feedback Friday is the first Feedback Friday of the year.
Oh, dude, the first stream.
The first stream of the
Feedback
year. We'll see you next week. Probably, Jake. I'm going to check the calendar.
The alternate.
Yep, should be good. I don't see anything super crazy going on. Andrew Stevenson away twice.
I was just posing in the background, all right?
So thanks for joining me, and I'll probably see you in 2 weeks. You'll probably see Jake up next week. All goes according to plan. Happy hunting. Bye.
Bye.
Look at you, such a beautiful you. You're the master of the mausoleum. Look at me, barely at level 3. I am begging for a piece of gold. All the mice, all the terrible mice that you naturally attract to you. I wait with the trap and the bait, and they ain't biting in 1,000 years. I'm waiting on a mouse today. Anyhow, we'll be just fine. I may not be a hero, babe, but I'm willing to give it a try. I'll lay my trap by yours, and you will be my skull, and I won't care at all because I'm there. Look at you, such a beautiful you. I am caught up in the crazy game. Look at me, barely at level 3. I just know I'll never be the same. All the mice, all the terrible mice. If I had my way, I'd catch a ton. I wait with a trap and a bait, but they ain't biting on a single one. I'm waiting on a mouse today. Anyhow, we'll be just fine. I may not be a hero, babe, but I'm willing to give it a try. I'll lay my trap by yours, and you will be my scars, and I won't care at all because just fine. I may not be a hero,